Well, we still here kicking the bricks, and we are here today with none other than Ira Lee. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being a part of this madness, as they say. Um,
Keeping it candid and conversational, huh?
Definitely. I'm going down the list looking for your. I know I have your promo here. It's
Somewhere in
just the
there.
TV is so far, and my eyes are not so good. There we go. Bam. I don't agree with your Instagram tag, but
I like that. That's a good icebreaker. Let me put it like this. I'm 19 and I think I'm a genius.
okay.
Right? It's 1999. I know I'm gonna drop my first single next year. I'm like, yo, no one at this point in time is going to come out being mad, hyper arrogant about self deprecation. I'm going to pioneer this shit. That's where I thought I was back in the day, right? I was just like, yo, I'm going to take all this shit I am and I'm going to be so gangster about it. People are going to be like, what is this like emo weirdo with the weird like ideas that's just making fun of himself before? Like, are we laughing at him or with him? So that's where Ira Lee's whack was born, right?
Okay,
Defense
okay.
mechanism, but also like I got there before someone could make the joke, so you had to laugh with me,
Yep,
you
yep.
know. Oh, it sounds sad, but there's some beauty in that strategy too, right? Because no one taught you that shit. We were lucky enough that one of our homies in the crew was like, "Yo, that's kind of funny, man. That's kind of funny, dog. You should run with that." Like, you know. So
Yep.
I had good people, I had smart people that are like, "Yo, that's dope."
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's
I,
geeky, but it's dope.
I just wanted to get some background on that because I was just like, okay. And then I saw some of the Instagram like footage and all of that. So I'm just like, yo, this is some dope shit. What is this guy talking about? Nah, he's gonna have to rebrand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, but it's also I found too because like um I'm lucky in a way that like nobody knows who I am, but I had a lot of opportunities to just like C-level celebrity ball out internationally over the
okay.
course of like an extended course of 15 or so years. But a lot of that was just like 9 to 5 stuff, workshops, like talking to cats, selling programs, doing like, $1 shows, doing thousands, like whatever. It was the whole hustle. So when I started to do stuff with like kids and educators, and I had to have a way to code switch that wasn't code switching. So when I could start being like, let's talk about Drake and the word nigga, everyone would look at me and I'd be like, right,
Yep.
right, and then it opened up that opportunity for everyone to start telling me what they thought, and the passion that already exists within like communities, within artistic communities, within everything was there. So I felt the best way to tap into it is for me to stop fucking antagonizing people, because I learned early on, as soon as I walk into a room, one of the first shows I ever did, it actually triggered this, and you're just bringing this up right now, my fam right here, like this is a nostalgia tumor right here.
All
So
right, all right.
I'm at Amigos Cantina in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, like 2002, first album I ever made. It is still pretty much considered like the Ira Lee classic, called Cafeteria Food, with Factor from Fake Four Records, used to be Side Road Records. One
Okay.
of Chesky's homies, Micah Nine, all those dudes. So we made this record together early on in Saskatchewan days. I'm standing there before my own show. This other cat's opening up for me, some local dude, real gangster, right? Like hard dude. So he's got all his crew there in the front, and they're all looking like, why is this why is this not the show? Like, who the fuck is this other dude coming up after, right? So standing there, homie's girl comes up to me and says, I don't know who you are. Okay, she didn't have a Valley Girl accent. That's too much me watching Clueless. She came up to me, she goes, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you are, and I don't know why you're here, but I'm going to give you some advice. And I'm like, oh, hi, stranger. What's up? She's like, yo, you got to stop feeling and projecting like you're better than everyone else around you, because you're not, buddy. You're not. And she walked away. And I was like, shit, do I play this show? Do I put on like my MF Doom, or no, it wasn't my Doom mask back in the day. It was like, do I put on like some cool keep shit and just get up there and get ready for the bottles to start being thrown, or what's up with this, right? So I went up on stage, and I figured the best thing to do was just like, a lot of times in rap in that era, it had to be about respect. So I invited dude back up to freestyle with me, you know, hardcore gangster dude, put on some Gangstar. You put on Full Clip by Gangstar. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking rapper you are, you're going to start laying it down, right? You got to rap for Full Clip. I don't care what era you're from or who you are, even if you don't know what's going on, as soon as that beat hits, cats get crazy. So I invited him up. We had a big talk. I gave her the mic so she could do whatever the hell it was that she did. Grabbed it back. They got off stage. Everyone was happy. The gangsters and the knee knockers were along and passing joints. And I thought, yo, man, maybe I have to be a diffuser as much as I'm a disruptor. And that was like kind of the cementing of Ira Lee's whack, because I took myself out of it, but still didn't have to not be me, right? But me gets my ass kicked. Like the Ira Lee part gets his ass kicked, especially in that era, right? Like for being so much against the grain.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's where that came from.
Yeah. And it maintains trueness, because that one picture where, I don't know if it was a GIF or a motion, something, I must have stared at it for a good 45 seconds. You're holding two things in your hand. I think it's like fire and a plant, or water and a plant or something.
Yeah.
It looks like it's moving, and it's like you're like trying to transduce energy from one to the other, but which way it's going doesn't really indicate or illustrate. And you know what I mean? It's like, that was
That's
so
it, brother.
deep. That was,
You nailed
like,
it. You nailed it, my man. But you nailed it because there's a really important understanding. There's depth as far as communicating a deep message, of communicating something profound that other people can relate to in whatever way they relate to it. Then there's a level where it's just about interpretation. And other people tell you, yo, I had this feeling and here's what it was. So I'm not responsible for that shit. What I know is that I can produce it and get out of the way. The problem here is that as soon as you package it, or you standardize it, or you manufacture it, all of that intimacy is gone. And you know, the artists that are able to affect people with this is because they have been able to manufacture it to a degree where there's a generic sense of personal intimacy or personal engagement, or this like narrative, but it's so generic that it's still designed for a subset group of people for a subset reason because of a brand value. So it's like, it's demeaning. And I've tried to take it away from that, but there's really no give or take. Like I think most of the most incredible and inspirational artists I've ever met literally make their painting or their song and they take it outside and throw it in the fucking river. And you never hear them, you never see it, you never get to hear this. And I'm sure this is the same with the most popular artists or the most whatever out there, because you got cats releasing like greatest hits album and stuff. That's usually not the artist's choice. The profits are not going to the artist. Like so much of these choices, as soon as you move imperialism and economy into the artistic process, you really can't pretend that you have a mastery over it. So now you're an artist talking about, yeah, I went in there and then I sat down and I negotiated. Like, that's all bullshit. Like, you had a bunch of money to start with and you went in there, you took a shitty deal and you transformed it into something much bigger because you already had these leverages outside and beyond what you're explaining to us. So like, why are you belittling us and demeaning us and like just feeding us bullshit, yo? And that's always been my big issue, is like, I knew I was better with, I'd be better with a group of cats that didn't know who I was than a bunch of people who had heard of me through someone else. A big disadvantage in independent communities.
You know what? Yeah, you're very right, because when they hear you through somebody else, they hear a one-sided opinion. When they meet you directly, you know what I mean, they get to form their own conclusion of your person, which gives you the advantage and control over the narrative.
That's it.
Very true.
Yeah. These are the unfortunate realities of Ira Lee stemming back for such a long time, and why like my marketing game is so weird. Like I've purposely tried to create like a niche so that anyone who like seeks me out has to like go through these Legend of Zelda levels to get like some kind of reward. It's the ultimate like I think it's just it's born out of a sense also that a lot of the communities and the artists that I work with, like they started what's the word, how you qualify this, realizing their potential realizing their potential. They started balling out and just like handling business in the ways that were like destructive, and I can't judge, right? I didn't because I wasn't good at it. Like I tried to sell drugs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I tried to push coke. I tried to be the weed guy. I tried to be like the cool guy that was. I tried all this shit, but I stuck out so much. I had such a flamboyant nature. I had this. I'd walk into a room, people would be like, "Who the hell is that? Why is he so tall? Why does he look that way? What's wrong with his voice?" So there was this need for me to shift the attention just to pure novelty and just try to monetize it. But it was really difficult to do with myself as an individual. But with art, it started changing, right? Because then you can play characters. And I realized, like, shit, I can sell this venue, I can sell this crowd, I can sell these people. Myself as a photographer, if I hit the right people. Myself as a filmmaker, if I hit the other right people. Myself as an artist, then I can sell myself to the back line to get a good draw. Like, I just have to have the right people in the right conversation at the right time. And that's why it's really, really tough as a solo artist to keep groups together, right? Because groups are just a bunch of solo artists that get together for a common purpose. And when you get older, if you haven't made it, if you're not living off like this dream that you and like your best friends had when you were younger, that's not a valid way to pay the bills or explain to your loved ones why you're investing 27 hours a day in something that you've just failed at for over and over and over to be able to actually move forward, even if creatively, you know, you've you're Sun Ra 2 or Tupac 3 or whatever. There's responsibilities, right? And you start to see that, and that's the limitations. They're not really imposed on us by ourselves, but when you realize them, then you have to start to work with them or try to make peace beyond them, I suppose. Is that selling out, selling in, selling over, or working your way through? It's really a bit of each.
Yep. And when sometimes you have the situation where it starts off and it's just not the way you expect it to be, but you know what I mean, you work through it until it gets to where it can be, and then it kind of, you know, tapers off a little bit, but then it picks up. It's just it's almost like the stock market. You can never really tell how many people you're going to be able to get interested in one particular thing. It's just a matter of trying interesting things to get people's attention.
Exactly. And like I think for a shout out to all the artists that in the history of history that we go gallivanting all over the world internationally to cultivate these like pools of resilience. I remember when I was here and I had this experience, and that's why I still do this on the lows. You know, you can reference a high, or you can be able to create. Like I've gotten more out of life as a result of what I've invested in art than I've ever expected art to give back. And if that's something that I could, like, if that's like a virtue I could espouse beyond anything else, like when you're working really, really, really hard and you get really good at something, stop being ostentatious. Because I made that mistake 10 years ago, right? You got a great voice, so all of a sudden you want to fucking sing. You know, you made one good beat, so all of a sudden you're like, you think you're Mad Lib. You know, like you made a dope this or a dope that. But the problem is that until you're fully realized in the North American artistic spectrum and systems, you make a fan base and then you start creating art. I mean, it can happen the other way around, but then you're just an indie artist. But when you go over to Europe, there's so many setup systems to be able to cultivate true and absolute, I would say, to make sure that the level of even introducing a new artist is so high because they've done 600 shows. They've toured like 5 times. They have an entire live show that's based on like a loop and a pedal that has been cultivated by these labels that haven't signed them, but have been like slowly connecting them with booking agents and other like huge labels and huge venues. And so you end up with these artists. The first time someone's seen them, you're like, holy shit, they're Cœur de Pirate or they're Grimes or something. You know, this is an example, even though they're North American. But you see these, the Cœur de Pirate's not. She's from Quebec. Quebec's not in Canada. I'm just gonna put that out there. You know what I'm saying? And then I say shit like that, and that brings us here. You know,
Yep.
The kid from Saskatchewan saying shit like that. But yeah, like that the life of art is the art life. And whenever I talk to anyone, they're just like, yo, why aren't you famous? I'm just like, yeah, but what the fuck is that question? First of all, help me understand why you're asking it and why we're having a conversation, because you're not famous enough to be having this conversation with me. And if you're too famous, then you're wasting your time and you're not smart enough for the amount of fame that you currently have. And if you want to be infamous, then like, let me break it down, because infamy is a lot more. Infamy has a longevity and a reality as far as your human experience, because like what, 10% of us are going to live on in something we've created after we die, and 3% of us are ever going to make something worth being within that 10%. So like, why wouldn't you just make dope art, have a dope life, have a dope whatever you can, and just feel dope about it until you're no longer in this plane of existence?
It only makes sense.
Pretty level, right? And then your expectations, it's measured expectations, because then you can like, your highs and your lows are still within reason, and you don't end up losing yourself to like that rock star bullshit, because that was so cool back in the day, but now it's impossible. And when I see a lot of the cats, or a lot of the like, just a lot of like a lot of the younger kids, face tattoos. Can I talk about that for a minute?
Open up, bro. This is Candid Conversations. This is Ira Lee's life. Let's talk about it.
What a beautiful, what a beautiful leeway right there. Like, I have no idea. Let's talk about face tattoos. So here's the thing. Like, if you got a face tattoo and you don't have a rap record out, you did it wrong. Like, you did it the wrong way. Someone misinformed you. Your homies didn't help you out. You really did it the wrong way, because you're coming in at a disadvantage. What you got to do is come in pure and be exploited in public view. That's what the world wants. And the reason that I put this forward and project this so definitively, despite all of the valid arguments to the contrary, is that I want anyone that I'm engaging with, I want like anyone who's inspired in any way whatsoever by me to say like, yo, I'm really inspired to figure out what the fuck I'm already doing, and then step back and look at how other people see it. That's the most important thing for me, is like, knowledge is a perspective. And to have a point of view is really where you elevate yourself above colonialism, above historical disadvantages, above fucking racialized punishment, and like the eons of like, I'm going to go point times infinity there, because that statement won't stop. But as soon as you can elevate yourself out of those consciousnesses, those situations, those surroundings, those environments, those triggers, and you're still rooted in them because you realistically understand the way the world works, and that like, that white power is not even off white power yet. So that's the system we're dealing with. But if you can get out of your personal emotional construct and make decisions based on reality for your own well-being and art, then all of a sudden you can make decisions based on like, how am I going to make money, knowing what reality is? And do I like the art I'm using? Do I just want art to be for fun? Like, you have control, like some Ian Curtis shit. And like, having control to me is, that's the dream, because it's an illusion. But when you feel like you have control over anything, your passion feels and manifests itself in unlimited ways. And then you're experimenting and you have all this confidence, and like, there's just cycles of energy. So if you can produce any kind of attachment to those vibes and to those frequencies, then go for it, and go for it hard. But always remember that like, it's so much more beautiful to watch something become, grow, and die than to catch something at a period of time and then lose it, because there's not a story arc, and it's really hard to look at art in a way where I'm going to come in at a period of time and make a statement because I said so. Art doesn't work that way. And the way that the world works, because of our temporary attention spans, whenever I see like a kid like that or something, I'm like, yo, we're talking about a different thing. We're talking about like being like a social media influencer or something. So yeah, get a bunch of tattoos and stop worrying about like rapping well or about original beats. Like, your concerns of ethics and morality are going to hold you back from making a lot of money and living the like shallow, totally pointless, wasteful, destructive life that you're craving. So I can give you some advice how to like suck and be whack, because Ira Lee is Ira Lee, but Ira Lee is also whack. So if you decide you want to be one or the other, you can't be everything, crew. And that's the hard part, right? Is that you really can't be everything. And there's a lot of like, I think because we lack information. And like the young cats, if you play a Tribe Called Quest song for someone who's like a big, I don't even know like all these new rap people's names, something 96 or 69, that
Oh, that dude, Takashi.
yeah, there you go. You play like some Tribe Called Quest, anything from like Midnight Marauders or anything from that era, and you'll honestly see those like, these like trill and drill and whatever these forms are. They'll like it and they'll listen to it. But when you start explaining it or breaking it down or aging it,
Mm-hmm.
you automatically lose these cats because they're not really interested in anything but aesthetics. And whose fault is that?
Theirs?
Well, I mean, it's like we played a big part in anytime I talk to old rappers, they're like, yo man, rap used to be so dope, or like soul used to be so dope, funk used to be so dope. And I'm like, used to be? And they're like, oh yeah, this new shit. And I'm just like, yeah, new shit that you probably haven't heard because I haven't. Like I can talk about all the stuff I don't like, but I don't have time to listen to it anymore because I'm listening to stuff that is like pulling me in some of these weird ways, where there's like a space in between all this other bullshit I got to do, or I'm listening to stuff that I'm drawn through people I respect, that are probably sharing my experiences. And since I'm old as fuck now, I don't know what's dope on that level. So why are you commenting on it? Dudes would be like, yo, man, you're always the devil's advocate. But I'm like, no, we're missing out on dope shit. We can't say rap is not dope now.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
unless you and I can name all the reasons and have all the arguments and make all this stuff. And then another thing, like, I talk to these cats, face tattoo cats. They're on this like real new, like limited era of rap, and it's mostly like college shit. Like they like a lot of college rap, and it's not really like it's like it's the intro to rap. It's a good way to look at it. Where they're just, it's like nice rap. It's not generic, but it's just it's like there's a Canadian group called Sweatshop Union. Sweatshop Union is like it's like there's six like white guys. They're sort of not white, but they're dancing on stage like Jurassic 5 was, and they're harmonizing and they're all rapping in syncopation. So it's like, okay, it's rap, but it's not dangerous. Like I could talk to these guys after the show kind of thing. And that's really tough for a lot of what's happened in the genre. To be honest, when it comes to kids, how can you expect there to be any kind of education when there's just zero access to anything? Because I look at TikTok and I look at dudes doing rap videos now, and like, why would you even make a rap video? Why wouldn't you just spend all your time making 3-second clips for TikTok?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get with it. Wake up. If you check out my new video and check out all this stuff, and there's kids like fucking launching like landmines in the air, doing triple backflips on their skateboard into like the Sahara Desert or something. Like your new clip that you filmed is dope, but I'm sorry. So it's like reorient your expectations, and you got to kind of get with the vibe. And that's a really tough thing to say to incredible artists, because it's not invalidating their art, but it's just like, I don't know, imagine like Warhol was like, I don't know if I want anyone at the studio tonight. I don't know if I like soup cans, really. I don't know if I really want to play with that camera. I might as well just do all this stuff that's already been done, or like, why push anything? And that goes into every medium and every media of art. So, I mean, if kids want to know what's up, then it's up to the adults to start participating in the media and the mediums that these kids are telling them to come to, or that they're going to. And I realized that because like I got no TikTok presence, and I started doing, I started like planning it out a little bit to build it for the next release, because there's a value there. And in some way, shape, or form, I want to make sure that like I'm less inaccessible. I'm never going to be purely accessible, because like I'm from that era that's super arrogant, but I'm also from that era where the protectionism and like the territorialism is dead, because a lot of us are either like failed, dead, so wickedly different than we were at the beginning, or just not able to still produce art. Like a lot of the homies I came up with speak a lot more success than they're living, right? Some big names, and I'm not going to drop anything, but big names, people you saw in Much Music back in the day, people you saw in Much Vibe or MTV2, or all these like Canadian icon artists. And like back in, oh, I don't know, I'm so old, yo. It's 21 now. So probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I was walking down Bloor and Bloor and Spadina.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to see these dudes, I used to like, especially Toronto cats, right? Because I love all the Toronto cats, but I was always down with all the like the indie Toronto cats, like the Modulux, the Red Ants, the Turntablists, the Word Burglars, the um, just all the Toronto cats that were like really, really indie. Thomas Quinlan, Buck 65, the Sebutones, like all the real weirdo cats. And a lot of it was connected to skateboarding, right? So I used to see the rappers and I'd be on my skateboard or something. And 8 years ago, I don't know if it was 6 to 8 years ago, I'm down on Bloor and I see this like, I see a cipher with probably everyone I've ever wanted to be in a cipher with, right? So we're talking like, we're just talking, we're talking the whole crew from like the Cardinal Official being on top era, right? And Cardi was cool because I met him with Freak Show and he liked wrestling and we were like wrestling on the floor in Winnipeg in like the 2000s. So he was really cool, you know, like he was just a down to earth dude. And but all the Toronto guys, when we were in Toronto, I was like, hey guys, remember me? Like I was that guy you met with Bus Driver and we were doing this. No, like. And I remember like, and I don't want to call it out because it's a long time ago, but I remember like a couple of these dudes, they just didn't know what, I guess back in the day there was a different understanding because I was from like the blowed side of things, like the Good Life Cafe, the Micah 9, the Riddler, the Abrood kind of stuff. So if you talk about freestyling, I was like, you know, and even like Prevail Wonder and like the National Battle Association and Emotions and all those guys on the West Coast. If you're going to use the word freestyle around one of us now, you couldn't just use that word 15 years ago, right? Because we had a cult and all of us were actively competing for like this like unbelievable amount of like credit that could only be won by dominating every cipher irrefutably and not 8 Mile style, just in a way where no one else could question what happened in that particular cipher on that night on that corner with those homies, you know? So I start rapping with all these Toronto cats. And they're like, cool, you know? And I start saying my name and figuring out where I'm at. And then all the rest of them are rapping. And I start beatboxing and everyone's still, that's still cool, right? Because it's like, it's cool. I'm still in my role. I'm still in my zone. And everyone starts going. There's one cat starts battle rapping. So it's like, I start beatboxing and like half beatboxing, half battle rapping back. And that's when everyone just got mad. And I was like, yo, someone else pick it up with me. Like I stopped. I remember in the middle of the cipher and I'm like, listen, all you fucking celebrities, someone else start beatboxing because I can't keep beatboxing and rapping at the same time. What's up? And that didn't go over well. And then everyone started rapping and then there's like then it was just conversation all night. And like, oh, yo, man, you know that. And I just remember being so disappointed and like my toe was on like the corner and I was like kicking dust, like more closer to tears that I was like trying to prove anything. And I'm like, I finally got to meet all these incredible like inspirations to me. And they just sucked like collectively. And it wasn't any individual. It was just, there'd never been an experience. And they'd had so much leeway within their homies and their groups based on the fact that they never had to freestyle. Yet we're using the word and we're advocating techniques. And so it just sucked to like absolutely destroy everyone in the cipher, have no one to brag about it to it, never be able to have any recognition for it in any way whatsoever. And then it died in that moment. So that's where I was like, okay, it can't be about anything else for me forever except storytelling and just kind of doing my own thing. And that was like a sad realization that like a lot of solo artists have, I think, at a certain point in time. I think Chuck D and Flava Flav were a great example of two guys that had like their solo artist epiphanies at the same time. And they're like, shit. Yeah, like we have to do a bunch of other stuff, but we still have to be PE because we can't not be. And I realized that if you don't have a thing that's like you can't not be, then a lot of these cats, in the era that when I was on the West Coast in the early Renaissance period versus the the East Coast. I'd come to the East Coast dudes and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, man? I'm right. I'm going to smoke this out. I'm going to roll this out. I'd be on the West Coast. He'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to smoke this out. I'm going to roll this out. And I'd be like, yo, all you fucking dudes are from Canada and went to like, you know, colonial universities. I know your mothers. I know how you talk like when you go home. I know what bus line you're taking. Like, just fuck off. But only few rappers in the history, like the people that Ira Lee still talks to and that would say anything nice about me are the dudes that just started keeping it real. And they're like, yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. And a lot of them did, right? But not in the moment. And that's what hurts, because I've had that experience over and over and over. And that's a big part of what we talked about last time. That's a big part of Black Office. That's a big part of reconciliation. That's a big part of growth as a community. That's a big part of the facade of what like this allyship theater represents. Something happens, people email you in secret behind their back, like it has a value. And so that's the thing that we got to change. It's like, if you could be real, then you sponsor reality. If you be real, other people be real back. If you've been real, then there's nothing but reality that can come at you. And that's, I don't know if that's humility or if that's also pragmatism, because I didn't come from a place where you could build on a lie and then that lie was a career. I came from a place where you had to build something people accepted and then hope that that transformed into opportunities to be a career.
Yep, it's very true. I mean, like the situations as it were, like even to relate to some of what you're talking about through the whole thing. I remember like in my youth trying to run with the man's them in the street. And there was this one, like I used to record for them. The first song I recorded was I was 13 years old, and I convinced my brother to let me use his computer so that I could record these bands. And I was trying to, you know what I mean? I was trying to keep them out of the line of problems, and they were still doing their thing. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm recording you, I'm running with you. So then they're like, yo, we got to make a move, Ray Tay Tay. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, and that's mid-recording session. So I'm getting ready to go, get my stuff ready. My dude stands at the door. He's like, hold up. Where are you going? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, yo, I thought, you know, we're partying and things. He's like, nah, Brethren. You see, you have a brain. You know how this shit works. We can't have you getting caught up in this madness.
Yeah.
When you know there's better for you. He said by 2015, you need to be telling someone in a corner office that you want that office with a view. I said, okay, cool. Yeah. So like 2012, I decided to work from home. I didn't like my windows.
Punchline, you know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, bro, we got the windows changed, we got the doors changed, we got the porches changed. They just, like, in the last couple of years, they redid the sidewalk and the road. I'm liking the view a little bit more than I did when I got here.
Yeah. I mean, there's a transformation around you that you can appreciate. I mean, the pacing. You know, the pacing is somewhat to be, the pacing is an acquired taste. However,
yes,
you know, we can look at it optimistically. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you know, something I can say too, like this story is everybody's story, right?
Yep.
And when all this nonsense I'm saying, all this like, and in madness, like you sum it up, because everyone has this shape of madness that they had to like Play-Doh into some kind of life or some kind of existence, or in the art sense, hope.
In the art sense, I like to say it like this: you make believe until you make belief.
Ooh, wonderful, beautifully said.
You know, I try.
What can I say? You eloquent as hell, and I mean, I just had to point that out because you know, you underline the quotables, and I can't, unfortunately, like me at the dudes at Source don't talk, but that's the kind of shit that I wish I would have seen in that, you know, like the hip hop quotable back when I was seeing that, like the Mad Men fucking hoodies that they were selling on like 18 pages of the Source magazine in the late 90s. But, or, you know, like, okay, Beat Factory, great Toronto label, classic, released so much awesome shit. Now, you're in Western Canada, right? In the early 90s. you got all the wackest shit on Beat Factory that is just like these, like you got like I can't say I don't want to call people out. I just can't do it anymore, man. Because anyone who's hustling, you got nothing but respect. And if you exist and you're not dead, I'm not going to put you on blast unless I have a real reason to. People I put on blast, like watch out. But I can't get Breakfast Clubby about shit though. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. I even with this podcast, people are, oh, you need to watch Breakfast Club and do what they're doing. No, I need to be me and do what I'm doing because
that's what I'm saying. Like we could talk mad shit and get like 20 people to give a fuck for a minute, but it's not gonna be the right people. And then the 60 people that are gonna come back at us are not going to be the people that we want to communicate with anyways. You
I'm
know?
telling you, man. I'm telling you, and you can only do so much good for so long. I know, like,
Yeah.
I know people that should be assassins the way they kill with kindness, but like,
Uh,
I'm not that guy. Like they say, I mean, like, nah, I am not slow to anger. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's not what we're talking about. You know,
I
like
know, I know, but I'm just saying, like, in certain situations, it's just like, I don't know how I've dealt with this week so well, if I'm being honest, if I'm being candid. Because,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness, I believe in you. I believe in you. What? You don't believe in yourself?
Right?
Wait a, wait a minute, but I believed in you because you
Yeah,
said
so
it.
it's like, yo, you not believing in you is fucking with my believing in me because I believed in you, and I believe in my belief because I'm a believer.
You know what I mean, though? You
You
hear me?
know, and it's like, yo, we in a belief system here?
There's a
Like,
belief system right now. Like,
I'm telling you though, we're lucky. We are lucky because we both have um a very. I'm gonna just say, now, I'm not putting people on blast, but I'm gonna put empathy and sensitivity on the front line here because they
yes,
should be, right?
yes, yes.
And I feel that from you since the day one that I've had the privilege of being part of any conversation, candidly, on Candid Conversations. And the way we like, not only the way that everyone has an opportunity to create their own space within the group. Like that's the next level shit. Not just to have a safe space to come in here and say like, yo, this is how I use my safe space. Cool. And everyone would be like, hell, you like bring up the pom poms. So
Yeah.
that's some trademark shit. And what our approach is this beautiful people of tomorrow vibe. And I'm telling you, this is the absolute mathematical, data-based standpoint to rally around. Whatever your position or however you can support it, understanding that like tomorrow is just more and more mixed, tomorrow is more and more changed, the day after is just amplified. We're creating a sensibility that if I had it in within rap music, I had this sensibility that we are part of. There was other. I got it from other places. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna drop it now. LeVar Burton,
Okay. Yeah.
Reading Rainbow,
Yes.
that ultimate super kindness, and then I'd watch the boring ass like Presbyterian but still super kind, beautiful human version of LeVar, which was Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
And so you
Yep.
watch
Yep.
Mr. Rogers, they'd be bored as shit, but then like the postman would come, they'd be washing their feet together in like the kiddie pool, and you'd be like, holy shit, this is like some groundbreaking, in the 70s. And then you go over to Bob Ross, and you have this beautiful man with an afro, putting a little bit of clouds over here and some nice
Yeah.
trees right here. And I just want you to feel. And so all these vibes, right? I remember seeking them out when I was young and feeling like, yo, I want to do this, but like be hard about the presentation of it. Be like, it's so brave and fearless to be this kind.
You missed one of those epic icons who I think
Yo,
I
yo, lay it on me.
I think I took after him a lot because, like, I'm telling you, and this isn't like a gender specific role. I bring the stuff down, she washes them. I bring the stuff up sometimes, but
Mhm.
like we have the things that we do in our house. So like, she's the wife and she manages me. She like, if it doesn't make sense with her, if I don't get a good vibe from her, it doesn't happen, bro.
Yep.
It just doesn't happen.
Lyrics.
So
That's lyrics right there.
I'm telling you. So, but the Mr. Dress Up.
Mr. Dress
Mr.
Up.
Dress Up.
And
He
a
was
Canadian icon too. I am embarrassed, and thank you for adding to that list. That list has no order, okay? It's not a
no, there's no order. You can't put them in an order because
you know what I'm saying? That's just like
yeah,
leveled. You're all leveled up. You're on that level. We can't even put it in. Like we're so far from understanding that level that we're just saying, yo, y'all are way up there. You know,
you're there. We're
way
still
up there. Yeah,
trying.
I'm saying that, and like, and I use some of those sometimes because a lot of people have shitty, shitty influences. They're shitty icons, and it's not because they're not admiring something specific that's dope. It's that they just don't know.
Yes.
And don't want to, but just don't know as a starting point. And then when you start laying truth on the table, it's like, let's talk about stuff. And I said it like I had a dread the other day that was just really pissed off at me. And it's usually on some like, yo, what about my girl kind of stuff. Like it's never authentic where someone's just like, I'd like to sit you down and talk about your spiritual beliefs or really understand you or challenge you, man. It's never about that, right? It's like, yo, you talking to my girl shit. So this dread comes at me and he's a white guy. And I love that, right? Like when I get to talk to white dreads, and I'm still saying this dread comes at me, even though he's a white guy, right? That's the level of respect I'm giving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When you
I'm
say
saying,
dread,
listen, I'm saying in the conversation, I'm saying dread to dread, right? And I'm just like, listen, he's telling me all this shit, and he's like, it's like, yo, thing you got to understand, and yeah, I hate that. I hate that when I'm like white-splained by dudes about a thing I got to understand. No offense, but the thing you got to understand, like trigger words. No offense, but the thing you got to understand. Can I be honest with you? Like, no. Whatever the fuck you about to say next, bro, I don't want to hear it because that's going to be some bullshit. You can't preface it that way, right? So he's like, yo, I just want to say this one thing, man. I see what you're doing. I see who you're talking to, and I see the way you're talking. And it's just like, the thing that would be important, man, is to always like to bring it back to like this spiritual sense, And it's like, I worry, and he's worried about me, which is dope, right? I don't know this person. I never talked to him, but he's concerned about me. That's ill. He thinks about me, before and after our non-existent conversations. Like, that's dope. He has me as part of his life, and the feeling isn't mutual. Like, that's sick, right? So, and then he goes to me, it's just, I want you to bring it back to this spirituality. And then he says the thing that like most white dudes with dreads that have really attractive people in their lives that are not white say, because they have been imbibed with this sort of like de facto confidence from something really loving them and accepting them, even though they're not necessarily, that's the word I'm going to use. So they've been surrounded by love, and their positions haven't been challenged in a way that's conducive to growth. And he goes to me, yo, man, you got to like, it's like, I just feel like you're not understanding what the real Rastafari experience is. He's like, what would Marley do?
What?
It's like, what would Marley do? And that's where I lose it, man. And I like, that's where the conversation's like, if this cat started like twittering or putting all this shit public that I started talking to him about shit that I started saying, I'm like, you just can't say that to anybody, bro. Like, that was really my first statement. It's like, not only is it factually and artistically inaccurate, but I was like, I want you to do something for me before I literally like rip you a new flat white brown spot in the back of your body to call an asshole.
Oh, man.
I want you to Google Peter Tosh. After you've Googled Peter Tosh, I want you to Google Peter Tosh, David Bowie in the same fucking sentence. After that, Peter Tosh, David Bowie, and Mick Jagger. And you know what? This dude wrote me back a couple hours ago. Not, I'm sorry, or I've understood. But he's like, yo, I read that story, man, in like, about like what like Bob Marley did to like Bunny and Peter and like the Wailers, and like what Mick Jagger and Bowie did when they found Tosh in like fucking like a gutter in Jamaica and brought him in to make stepping rate. Like, it's like, not sorry, or I've been educated, or cool, or thanks for sharing. It's just like, yo, that's not even what I meant, bro. And sends me a live concert of Bob Marley singing One Love.
Wow.
Like, blocked, deleted, X'd. But the thing is, this is a somebody. This is a cat with like 150K fucking fans or something on his social media shit. And like, you go on his YouTube thing, and like all of the videos I've ever released in the last 15 years don't have as many hits as one thing. He's got 3 fucking songs out. He's got 1 million plus on his, like, so you see, these young cats have completely different goals. And so when they reach out to you and start talking to you, it's almost like don't expect anything and just start leveraging that shit. Like I should have kissed this dude's ass and been like, yo, let's argue on camera. Like, tell me this while it's being recorded. Let's share this to your fans so you can make Ira Lee's whack look as whack as he really is. But I'm just not a mean asshole like that. But I'm telling you, I'm going to get a lot meaner when I can call these things out, because I could smell that coming from the second that he reached out with me with like this like fucking yo jaw son like introduction. And it's
you need to come on the Savage Circle, bro. We need you on the Savage Circle.
I got like shit is wild. Shit is wild. But imagine this too. I get it from the black side, I get it from the white side, I get it from the indigenous side, and I get it from the Jewish side.
Ooh.
So it's like I'm fake to everyone. And I'm like, yo, I gotta benefit off something. Somebody let me know what I can benefit off of here. Gotta be some privilege y'all can like, point out the degree of privilege I can use so I can share it amongst all you motherfuckers and get everybody to start talking. But that's it. When I die, at least a lot of people will be having conversations saying all this guy did was make shit to make people talk to each other, like piss people off about him to talk to each other about him. So there's the value there.
That's probably why I can relate to you, bro. That's like I did that for the first 5 years of living here. Yeah, y'all want someone to hate? Then you're gonna hate me. I don't give a fuck. Right in the backyard, straight up. If you ain't gonna do nothing about it, I am. You want to hate someone? I'm the guy. I gotta be the bad guy. Fine, I'm the fucking bad guy. Whatever. So they're all talking on this one corner house. I come outside. I'm like, yeah, you have the balls to talk about me, but don't even have the decency to talk to me. They're like, why would we talk to you when you're acting like that? Because I wasn't acting like this to start.
Right. Oh shit! I think we found the connecting thread. That's it.
Yes, man. I tell you, I did it like not my proudest moment, but I had to do it with my family too.
Yeah. That's where it comes from, I think, yo.
Yeah.
Straight up, I think it comes. We practice it on them and with them, and they practice like because it's a result of them like using it against us in a lot of ways. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I came up that way too. Like for real, like guilt. Guilt was a big thing with us, right?
Oh my gosh, guilt and condescension. Like, I'll come here find something, sir. What do you mean? Like, what? Why? What the fuck, bro? I haven't seen you in months. Like, or the one I love. David, Lord of mercy, you look like y'all getting something weird. My wife takes care of me, all right, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. You know what I mean? I'm well cared for. That's what it is.
I'm saying, and again, this is so many people's stories. Bro, this is like our collective story. And to me, it's like so fucking refreshing to be able to share it because it comes from all kinds of backgrounds of second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all this shit. And like, we are separated by institutional indoctrination, not actually by our unique experiences. Although our experiences are unique, our experiences are uniquely connected. Because when I was young, like I had me and my best friend, when I was really, really young, before even getting into art, I was into hockey, right? Like skateboarding and hockey. I wanted to, I don't know, like like mixed, hey? Mixed. Wants to play hockey? Or it's a skateboard?
No, you can't play hockey. What do you mean? You got too much black in you.
That's it, right? And so, but I get on the ice, and it's like I could do what a big black person could do. I could like fuck people up. I could move around, but I had no coordination. I had no finesse. I didn't have the good equipment. I didn't have this understanding of even the competitive nature, right? But then you put me on you put me on a ball court, for anything, like, and I sucked hugely at basketball, but no one ever know it. Like, if you ever asked anyone, look, can Ira Lee ball? They'd be like, yeah, man, he can. Because I had that whole Wesley Snipes, white men can't jump shit. I just looked good. I made it look good. I didn't have to do anything but look good and be good at making other people look good. But you can't do that shit in hockey.
No.
You can't make other people look good because you look like shit all the time. You can't assist everyone all the time, right? Because there's no way to do that. So that was right there was some of the pivotal moments where you realize, yo, I got to give this up and be different, or I got to do shit that's easier. So it's like for sports and me, I was just like, fuck it. Like skateboarding ruined me. Honestly, if I could go back, I'd probably play ball. I would. If I could go back, skateboarding ruined me because skateboarding was my introduction into real. Skateboarding made me less black when I already wasn't black because I had like white, indigenous, a little tiny bit of Jew, and then like, but mostly white. I was the big white guy. So it's like the big white guy with the weird features, right? Remember too, I'm like right now I'm still light skinned, but I was even lighter 10 years ago. Like vitiligo shit. Cats would be like, yo, are you Cuban? Right? So like that affected things too, because like you spend your time self-identifying, but when you're skating, it didn't matter what fucking color you were. It just mattered if you could like hit that set, or if you could grind the rail, or if you could do all this shit. So I think that was skateboarding ruined me, saved me, wrecked me, and it's just the recluse of the lost. Who said that shit? Jerry Seinfeld said that. You'll never hear me quote like another another like boomer aged comedian, but what did he say? He's like, yo, anytime I see a group of kids skateboarding, I know they're going to be okay. And like that, I can say that too. Like if you ever fucked up in your life, no matter how low you get or what's going down, if you grab a skateboard, you're going to meet people who are going to give you a place to sleep, who are going to teach you how to roll a joint instead of smoke a crack pipe or fucking shoot up heroin. They're going to take you outside into a park and show you shit for free. You're going to hustle and do like a lot of bonding that you may not have an opportunity to do just through a shared love of one thing. And that's a beautiful independent activity that also is just something that like I was really happy because like when I came up, I was watching 411 videos, right, with Lords of the Underground as like the soundtrack. Like, what's going on? I'm so frustrated. Watching fucking Rodney Mullen skate for Plan B, and like Harold Williams and like all these like just sick fucking skaters, and with all this like dope hip hop. So I was like, yo, this can exist, but it only existed in skateboarding, because when I tried to bring that shit to rap shows, they're just like, fuck off, you and your skateboard. But then punk is different.
And then Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah, but punk is different. Ira Lee is probably about as punk as he is rap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 50% punk, 20% rap. Punk is rap though, and we can argue that another day. But 50% punk, 20% rap, and the rest is just, I think,
that's an interesting perspective.
Soul. Yeah, well, I came up with the punk guys though because that was my introduction to it. Just didn't matter. That was the first time I ever got on stage. A punk dude. It was after the first time I ever got on stage was after The Smalls show, which is Corb Lund's first band, very first band. He turned into a country singer, but the Smalls were from Vancouver, Toronto, and they played in Regina all the time, where I was born in Pile of Bones, Regina, Saskatchewan. They played this small venue there all the time because I think Corb Lund was like banging somebody in the Queen City. And the first show I ever did, I got on stage after their set with a punk rocker from Gob. Do you remember Gob? I don't know if you ever heard of them. Another punk band from like Toronto or something like that. And he's just like, I want to play a bunch of drums. You want to do that thing you do? Because this is like even before 2000. This is 1998. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get up there. And he's like, you got enough stories and stuff? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how long? I was like, I don't know, an hour. So I got up on stage and just freestyled for an hour. And then that became a thing. So that's how I sponsored and financed my first record, was freestyling for these long like vignette interludes at like this sort of multidisciplinary arts space in this real small community town where all these huge punk rock bands came. Then that transformed into going over to Saskatoon. And in the mid 90s to probably the early 2000s, something to understand, and I'm just going to put this out on the plate. I don't give a fuck where you're from or what set you claim. In that era, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan was the epitome and the epicenter of independent hip hop in Canada.
Really?
I said it, right? I'm going to sample myself saying that later. I said it, but I got reasons.
I gotta get you to pull that up. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan was?
Saskatoon, within the early Renaissance period, independent Canadian rap,
yeah,
in my opinion, which would land between 1993 and 2000. Like I'm talking about I want a decade here. 1993 to 2004, 5 because of Peanuts and Corn. So 1993 to 2005, little over a decade. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan was the epicenter, the most innovative, the most important, and the most historical addition to independent hip hop music in the history of independent Canadian rap culture.
I just wanted to make sure I heard you right. Okay.
Yeah, but I know that, and I had to repeat that twice.
That
But yo, I'm gonna say this, okay?
okay.
Earliest Saskatoon shows. All right, everybody I met from Dell. Oh, I can't even go to that, man. Dell, um, Master Ace, Exhibit, Bus Driver over and over, Mike Nine, Warren G, Snoop Dogg, a billion, too many times. Um, the list, like I'm really doing a disservice because I'm just randomly flipping through the Alcoholics, Tribe like 4 times, Saul Williams, the Grouch, all the Living Legends, all the Freestyle Fellowship, over and over and over, Freak Show, Peanuts and Corn, Your Brother My Backpack, all just anyone I can think of that was dope and doing shit. LA, New York, France. So DJ Solar was there a couple times. Even Guru came and rocked a few times. Master Ace actually came a lot. He spent a lot of time there. Um, Dell was a crackhead in that era, so like we used to have like a standing order at McDonald's to buy him chips, like to buy him McDonald's French fries. That's all he'd eat.
Oh,
So like this place was in between Calgary and Vancouver, right?
yeah.
So every booking agent would get at either myself or like one of the principal guys there and be like, yo, we got this stopover and we can't do this like 23-hour drive without a break. Can you hook something up? So we would get motherfuckers for nothing. We did a Warren G show for $150. I'm not putting Warren G on blast because he's worth 150K, easy. But we did it for $150 because they literally wanted a place to stop just so that he could like ball out, chill, and DJ. So he asked us for $150 to do a DJ set. He rapped half a song, DJ, and it was sick. Like we had Vin Rock come through. We had the Scratch Pickles. We had fucking Qbert and Mixmaster Mike come through. Not all the pickles. We had Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, and D Styles come through to like do some kind of like turntable show, and they didn't take any money. They're like, yo, we just want free drinks all night long. We want a free hotel, and anything that we break or fuck up, you have to pay for. You're like, I don't know. They're like, yo, that's what we want. So we did it, and it was free. So this is an geographical area that also had a huge amount of indie hip hop fans that were not only super committed and financially capable because they were this weird generation of like came up on indie music, but were from the prairies and were kind of like rich farmer families. And then on top of all that, for some reason, all these artists from all over the world wanted to come and like bang Saskatchewan girls. It was like a big thing. Like you go to the prairies, get with like a girl from the prairies, and then you got like your visa because it's super easy to get into Saskatchewan in that era from LA. There's a direct flight into. So the convenience of these cities of Regina and Saskatoon sponsored the value and the passion and the ability for all these incredible artists to come through. And anyone from these eras will tell you and realize that I was also part of like what was going on in the Winnipeg. Like I've been part of almost every independent Canadian rap scene in a different part in the era. In Vancouver with Tree Trunk Imaginations and like me and Prev One were pretty close back in the day. Hey, from the Swollen Members.
Okay.
Yeah, like Kylie was really cool to me at first, but then we got in a fight at Jean-Claude Van Damme's like $1 billion condominium or something one night when his manager did like the worst thing ever to him. And I was like, yo, let's hang out, talk about it. And I wasn't able to access the building with all my shit inside of it. So I like broke in, ran up and like just lost it on all of them. And then after that, basically they were so big at that point in time that conflict of any sort was just pushed completely to the side, you know? And I made an asshole out of myself because this is someone I cared about and he was like a friend, right? And I looked up to Prev One a lot because outside of all the records that he's done, he was one of the most innovative artists that I'd ever experienced. He was really the Canadian AC alone back in the day. Like just a lot of his approach to writing rap and a lot of his freestyle aptitudes and abilities. He was a legend outside of the music that he got known for. The rest of them, I don't even know all those people. But yeah, so I had a chance to see and participate in a variety of the scenes. And what I really saw is that Saskatoon created an opportunity for all of these. A lot of the tours that happened in Vancouver and Toronto are because we brought them into Saskatoon. So shout out to Vancouver and Toronto for getting all these dope shows that we brought in. Holler, and vice versa too. But no one was coming out west unless back in the day, unless they were they didn't mind robbing gas stations. You know what I mean? Because no one was really getting paid a lot of money, even the bigger names. Like this is back in the day. I think the Snoop show was like 15 or 20 grand or something like that. Imagine getting a Snoop Dogg show for $20,000. Now you're that, and that's not even a price point that's realistic. That seems like a fallacy, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. Saskatoon. I'll put Saskatoon up against any place I have been at all, except for South Central Los Angeles. I mean, Good Life Cafe and that era is, to me, the epitome of what I always wanted rap to be. But that's because I could sit down and have like incredible vegan cuisine, see the most groundbreaking artist ever, smoke a huge joint in the middle of the thing. And this is from the beginning until now. Like the Good Life always represented community. And then if I didn't have food, someone would come in with a bag from the garden in the back and hand some, food out to everyone who looked like they needed it, so they didn't have to ask. So that was for me, being introduced to that. And through Ridlor, shout out to Ridlor, who I'm working on a project with right now. Ridlor from CVE, Project Blowed, OG Project Blowed, Freestyle Fellowship, Los Angeles, California, is I don't know. I owe Henry so much. I owe Ridlor so much because this is just the cat. This is the cat that, all the way from like Micah 9 all the way up to Will I Am. So this is the cat that just put everybody on and never asked a motherfucker for a goddamn thing. So shout out to Ridlor for creating mid-90s rap, and for between Freestyle Fellowship, all the Project Blowed guys, and then all the gangster stuff too, because they all get along too. Like, that DJ Muggs back in the early days, DJ Muggs and like Be Real were hanging out with Gelrock and AWOL1 from the Cloaks and from Shapeshifters. So, LA was just mad innovators. And all I can really say is I throw on my sneakers and then I'm fine. No radio gets louder than mine. AWOL1, AWOL1. Okay. But yeah, like, sorry for that long diatribe, but I don't get to brag about Saskatoon very often because I was actually born in Regina, but Regina hated me, right? So I'd go hang out in Saskatoon where all like the dope rappers were, because Regina didn't have any dope rap. Regina was all gang shit. Regina was hard. It was like in Maclean's magazine for a period of 10 years. I grew up right beside the neighborhood that had the biggest death toll for a running 10 years called North Central Regina. I grew up in the Cathedral area, and it leaked into North Central, but it wasn't North Central. There was like a line. There'd be like a crack house, and then after that was like hippies. So I grew up like right on the right side of the crack house with the hippies.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Madness. So you make music too. I gotta have you on the Terrell Effect and feature some of your songs.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I've got a new record I've been working on, and a lot of it is something at least a few pieces are something I'd like to share, particularly during Black August. Riddler and myself just finished a song called Black Girl Summer, and it's definitive. Every once in a while I write a song that I get to do for 10 more years. So Black Girl Summer is going to be that song. When Riddler was in Nairobi, I believe, he got to work with like a bunch of his family and friends and just a huge bunch of youth he was doing workshops with and other villagers, locals, anyone, and recorded a huge amount of like found sound and live sound and just made a big amount of like productions out of it. And needless to say, like, there's sounds that can't be recreated or that don't come from anywhere else, mixed with sounds that are so abstract that I don't even know what. mean, it's like ghetto tech. It's like Afro chic ghetto tech. So I'm excited. I'd love to toss you a sneak preview because we just finished our first signal, and it's just like every time I play it, literally something happens. Like someone knocks at the door. I get a good text, something like wonderful has happened. So I've been trying not to play it too much. And that's weird when you're making an album, right? And you got like your roughs and you're happy with where the mixes are at. Um, and that's a privilege to do stuff that feels important. So I'm excited to share that with other people because I believe that feeling translates when something's concrete enough to have an existence of its own or of its own. And I've only done that a few times. Boom. Yeah, I'll definitely fill up your Gmail. Fill it full, just cram it full of goodies.
Good stuff. Yeah, and I'll add it to the rotation. And then what I'll give you, I think I'm booking in October right now. I think it's like October
Let's do it.
16th. October 16th, I think, is the next day.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, man, this Saturday is going to be bonkers. I gotta shout out FX May Vary. You know what I mean? They're coming down on August 28th to play a show at the Upper Space, 5268 Montrose Road in Niagara Falls. Shout out to Christy Hales, who will be syndicating this along with the Terrell Effect and the Savage Circle on Liquid Fire Radio. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah, and I mean we're all here, you know what I'm saying? So as much as we don't want to put any pressure on Candid, y'all, let's communicate as actively as possible all the time because like now is the moment, and that's like I can say that as a general statement. You know what I'm saying? Now's the moment is to share, to support, to distribute any kind of knowledge. Now's the time to be a catalyst. Now is also the time to shut the fuck up, which is not something I'm fantastic at. So now is the time.
Yeah. Now's the time to do whatever comes to you to do. And if you push it away, it comes back to you. It's really meant for you to do it. So if you don't get it done, you can't blame anybody but yourself. Like, I agree. Now is the time to communicate. Now is the time to express yourself. Now is the time to look for, you know what I mean? Look for the life that you are trying to live and make it possible for yourself. So,
and hold that now. Like hold your now, because your now is also tomorrow, and your now is going to remind you why yesterday isn't now.
yes.
You know, hold on to that tight and then use it and let it grow. And that's a big thing. I mean, if there's a moral to any story, it's that hopefully your story has a moral.
Yes. Yes. I mean, like, I want to shout out everybody who watched this, the people who tuned in. You know what I mean? I got to like the t-shirts. There's more t-shirts, ladies and gentlemen. When I first started, I only had one row of t-shirts. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get more because I only have this much space left up here.
Yeah, you got a lot of good problems starting to manifest. Hey, damn, yo. So listen to this. You know, if there's a t-shirt overload, then I'm gonna let y'all know that we're going to conference this out. We're going to group it out. We're going to figure out the logistics here because we are not going to leave Candid all alone with an abundance of dope shit all over the place, not properly displayed, because there is a very, very important aspect to being a collector that has to be accomplished to be satisfactory. So we got you. All right?
All right.
We got you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I got to shout them out from like right to left. You know what I mean? We got the Vibrant Arrow. We got the Slightly Intoxicated. There's the Explosive North. The Similar Differences. There's Shoom Gang right here. You know what I mean? SBE, the One Man Grandstand, Lushy Bantan. The River Lions, I just spoke to them today, secured my season's tickets for next year. Control, who will be playing live on Saturday. I met them because of FX May Vary. You know what I mean? Boom, right there. And then yeah, man, we got the other Explosive North shirt. I have to shout out my sister because she got me the I used the bar. I used a Street Fighter bar in one of my tracks, and my sister got me the Street Fighter 2 Ryu doing the Hadouken. You know what I mean? You got Ryu doing the Hadouken.
Oh, that's more than a shout out. That's like a hard holla right there. Holla at your girl.
You know what I mean? And so shout out to Shantai. Bless up, respects. She also got me a Donkey Kong Country Cup. I haven't even used it yet. I'm like the old
Yo,
school
that's so dope too. Yo, man, you wanna trade siblings, yo? I'm all about that right now.
Hey,
Like,
it took me about
if you ever, you rental policy or something, you know what I'm saying?
she might be
I'll
down
get
for
that
that.
kind of
But
love, brethren. I'll get that kind of love, and that's the kind of thing. Be good to each other right now. Like buy something dope for someone that you love, that you know they'll love and you don't love as much.
exactly. And then
You
like the
know?
final shirt in this corner right here. It's funny because I'm not a basketball player. Like I'm a defensive basketball player. Like I'll stop the goal, take the ball, go score it. I don't care. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
2019, we had a basketball tournament just before that thing kicked in, COVID kicked in, and it just so happened that your boy led his team with the help of his teammates to the championship. So you see it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what
basketball.
I'm talking about right there. Just had to drop a little truth, right? Just a little truth
Yeah,
at the end, you know.
you know what I mean. So yeah. Fun fact: that year, I actually got to shoot from half court during a River Lions game.
Now that's
Yeah,
rare. That's
that
rare
is
that you get to take that half court shot, right? In any
yeah,
circumstance, but especially in such a big game.
exactly. So like playing like and no, I was like a spectator and they had a contest and I got to take the shot at the River
Ah,
Lions game. And
did you
fucking
hit it?
I didn't I hit the rim. I rimmed out to the right. Like you could hear it, like it was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh.
Yo, I gotta say though, like hitting the rim is almost like more unfair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
I was the closest. I was closer than anybody else all year, even this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I
I don't
said,
know. That should count. That should count. It's
I
the
got at
same way
least
when you go to
250.
one of those. It's like you go to a carnival and they got the hoop is like what 2 inches smaller than it's supposed to be and like 3 inches higher, so it just fucks with that tiny angle that you never come up on, right? And it's like that should count if you hit the rim under any kind of excruciating or extenuating circumstances. That's got to count for something more than everyone else who couldn't even get that. I don't know, but is that me being like, is that some millennial shit? Is that some give me a participation award shit? Did I just drop that? I did, didn't I?
I
I
hate
did.
to say that,
Calling
bro.
me out, calling me
I hate
out.
to say that, bro, but it kind of sounds like it.
It does.
But no. In this situation, it does make sense. Like even my wife said, she's like, if you hit the rim, because if you made the basket, you got $1,000. If you hit the rim, you should have got 250. If you hit the backboard, give $100.
Right? Like I'm
You know what I
saying,
mean?
I don't know. I don't think that's a participation award. I think
No,
that's measuring the accomplishment qualitatively and comparatively. That would
that
be my argument.
yes, and I would accept that argument because you still have to put an effort into projecting that spherical object. That's a good 50 yards. Like
Yeah.
a good 35, 50 yards. So
Yeah, at least. At least.
what I did was like when I missed it, I was like, okay, whatever. I went to the YMCA the next day and I shot backwards until I got it in.
Yeah.
And I had my
Yeah.
wife film it. And she filmed it. And when I finally got it in, I tagged the River Lions and I tagged the Raptors. And I was like, okay, cool. Put it online. My wife watched the news.
Yeah.
Who's on the news? Not me.
Oh
Not me.
shit.
No, 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 no. Not me. Your boy
Oh
Drake's on the
no.
news taking trick shots from his basketball court.
Who?
Drake.
Yeah.
now, now,
Yeah.
we're talking dynamics here, okay?
Hmm.
I'm not directly associated, but there's indirect association.
Yeah, fair.
So it's possible that someone I know knows someone who knows someone that knew someone that knows someone that showed someone that told someone.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You see this?
Uh-huh.
The shot, the initial shot was on TV. It was aired on TV.
Yeah.
So then, okay, boom, one day I'm on TV. Then the next day I followed up on social media. Okay. So then you can't have some regular, you can't have some C level or some D level celebrity, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, compete with you. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
And
man.
then,
You ain't we aren't the right letters of the alphabet. They're looking
no.
for A, B, B max, B max, B minus, even B minus would make that cut.
Yep, yep,
You
yep.
know?
But no, they got to take the shine from people like that. And the thing is, I said, I'm not even trying to shine right now. I'm just trying to glow. Let me glow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I
come
don't even need to
on.
shine. You know, I don't
What's
need to
up?
shine. I'm just gonna glow. You know what I mean? I'm just, well, you know what I
Like,
mean?
let me have my 1 minute flex. Like, do I have to ask you for that?
You know
For
what I
real?
mean?
Come
Like,
on now.
louder things, the king, louder things. But yes,
That's
yes,
it. That's that
STE.
I'm saying. I'm saying. But there's a thing too. Also, there's a big thing with sports and art. And when you smash them together, like just think about the amount of people making money off both and how much they want to control. Like the people that control both of them are fighting for the control amongst themselves when you combine those two industries.
Yep, yep.
So I can imagine that like almost immediately someone was like, let's take out anything that doesn't make us all this money. And the people on their side were like, yep. And people on the side were like, yep.
Yep, yep. Let's whatever they do that gets some traction, replicate it and send it to everybody faster.
Yeah, and that ain't right, but it is reality. So at least knowing what we're dealing with and not like
Yep.
teaching people other things is at least going to prepare us for this reality because at a certain point in time, yeah, Drake, you just can't trust that person to do
Hey,
anything right.
I'm not
That's all I'm
mad.
going to say.
I'm not even mad though, bro, because
No,
like
no, no, no reason to be.
I could
But
trace the parallel. I traced it back. I said I looked at all the dynamics and I'm like,
that's it.
that's when you got to realize how influential you really are.
Right?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's it.
And that's just what it is. It's like,
But that's what I'm saying too, is it's not like, and I have other cats. Yeah, I got a lot of cats. Like a lot of cats I know written Drake diss songs. I'm like, man, you just played yourself.
yep. He
Like,
doesn't
really, are
care,
you gonna hate on someone so like the goals aren't even the same?
bro. The fact
You know what I'm
that
saying?
how are you gonna take 3 hours to write a glorified love song about someone you love? You have to respect them enough to take that time to go through their life to find all their faults and then you know what I mean talk about it. But like
Yeah. Right.
and at the end of the day, he doesn't care. He's still living his life.
Well, no, but and I don't even. To me, it wasn't even a it doesn't care thing. To me, it was like a because I don't want to tell rappers don't do something because someone else might not like give a shit. What I want to tell rappers is like, yo, you're gonna do all this. You're gonna spend time. You're gonna get a beat. You're gonna record. You're gonna do all this shit. You're gonna try to get clout. You're gonna spend a lot more than 3 hours, man. You're gonna spend a month. You're gonna spend money. You're gonna do
Yeah.
all this, and I guarantee you, no one, including the individual or any of these people by close to him, will hear it. Like it's not going to exist. And even if it does, it won't exist in any way, shape, or form. You can get anything except like very superficial satisfaction. Like if you want your echo chamber to go, man, you really served Drake. He could touch you. This is the different. Then that's cool because your goals should be totally realistic. And that's like I've told a lot of cats that, and they're like, "You defending Drake?" I'm like, "No, I'm trying to protect you from being fucking stupid. I would rather see you make a whole album that's not about how much you hate some like random person for no reason. Like the jealousy isn't even based on. Often when you hear haters, they're mad about a thing, like a thing, a
Yeah.
song or a moment or an instance, not a career or a human. So like I don't know if you're gonna hate, like get artistic with your hate. In this day and age, I'll just keep meandering now while our host is multitasking here. But yeah, no offense to anybody that thinks they're Drake and isn't, but you're not Drake. No offense to Drake for saying this, but you'll never fucking hear it. So fuck everyone who's not you. And as soon as it gets to Drake level, it's not about art. Primarily, because I'm projecting who I consider an art or what artist is. But when it gets to Drake level, motherfuckers better know there's 15 things going on that are much more important than whatever rap you're gonna rap, beat you picked, or your opinion. It's not about you anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing to say out loud, man, because that, like, if I turn the gun, that's shit. Like that shit, I can hang up and go say in the mirror, and it's more relevant to my experience and to my opinions than it would be given to someone else. But that's the other thing, and you hear people that hate, and any relationship with hate before you have a solid and profound understanding of love is just the wrong way to do it. Stevie Wonder will tell you that, you know. Any dope rapper will tell you that. Any good human will tell you that. Yo, did you hear? I heard Shaq. Okay, this is off question, but just for a nice to kind of wind us down here. I don't know what I was watching. I don't know how old this is, but I heard Shaq talking about Stevie Wonder isn't actually blind.
No.
Shaq and who else? I think Shaq and, like, it was like Billy Ocean. No, Billy Ocean. No, the other one, Lionel Richie. The other one. I just compared Billy Ocean and Lionel Richie. Okay, Billy Ocean or Lionel Richie before I continue with the Stevie Wonder and Shaq. Billy or Lionel?
That's a hard one. I have to go with Lionel.
That's a really hard. That's not even fair. That's like apples and apples.
Like I'm telling you, I have to go with Lionel because I rocked with him harder still.
I for that reason, and also, but I'm thinking about getting into my car. Like, it's, there's strings of. Okay, I'm gonna go with Lionel too because of the blind girl video.
Oh man, not for me. It's Lionel because get out of my dreams.
Yeah, that's fair. But I'm hello. Hello is so freaky and bizarre and unacceptable. You couldn't make that at this day and age. Like, with the feeling of her face, and he stalks her. He stalks one of his students in Hello, singing a sexy ballad song. He calls her at home at night after class and whispers "hello" in the phone and hangs up. So you gotta pick Lionel right there for being, like, for breaking all kinds of horrible ground and important ground, and and on the flip side you had someone like Kate Bush and fucking Donald Sutherland pushing like a 30-ton megaphone up the side of a hill. So that's my life. That was my upstairs. That's what was happening. Downstairs, that's what was happening. So smelled like weed and Lionel downstairs, and upstairs there was like either like White Winged Dove,
okay,
or Kate Bush. Like, there's always a lot of Stevie Nicks in my house.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart and Kate Bush.
Okay. So, like, my dad was the DJ. He was the master of ceremonies. He was, you know what I mean, head of the house.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday mornings, he's playing on the LPs. He's playing some Barris Hammond. He's playing some he's playing some Richie Stevens. He's playing some Garnet Silk. You know what I mean? He's playing those tunes. But then my mom, she liked her Rod Stewart. She liked her Michael Bolton. She liked her soul, and she liked her gospel, and she loved her Whitney. Oh my gosh.
Whitney though.
Yeah, Whitney and all of them. So, I had a very diverse background in, like.
But yo, we gotta, like, I won't take up a huge more amount of your time here, because, like, in about 5 minutes I'll probably start peeing down the side of my leg. But yo, can we talk about Rod Stewart and black women? And specifically, I'm gonna call that out right now. Rod Stewart and women who like black soul singers, or black culture. I'm just gonna put it like that, whatever color they are. Now, Rod Stewart, I didn't know was white when I was young.
Yeah?
I had no idea. And the reason was because Rod Stewart, my mama would play almost all the time she would play War because she had a big thing, you know, War. Um, Isaac Hayes,
Yep,
and
yep.
then either the Righteous Brothers or Rod Stewart. So they'd always be jammed in like this line of incredible black singers, like right after Harry Belafonte, right after fucking Tears from a Clown. Like I would hear Rod Stewart or the Righteous Brothers, or sometimes Peter Gabriel. So Peter Gabriel, I knew I was white because I was like, this sounds so different. The horns, like what is this? Like, and my mom would be like, oh, he's from England. And I'd be like, so what about Rod Stewart? She'd be like, yeah, that's why they sound so different. They're British. So they're like a really different kind of white. She'd be like, the Beatles. And I'd be like, yeah, but I don't like the Beatles. But then Rod Stewart, my mom used to beat me to Rod Stewart. Like when she was in a bad mood, I knew I was going to get beat if Rod Stewart was on. Like if I fucked up, she would try to calm down with Rod Stewart.
Oh no.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So I knew I was getting a whooping if I was getting Rod Stewart. But here's the thing. I knew if she played a bunch of songs and Rod was in the middle, and if I heard anything, if I heard When Doves Cry, Kiss, Purple Rain, anything, or The Revolution, anything Prince of the Revolution, I knew I was going to be okay. She was going to come downstairs real mad. And I could say, like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do all this shit. Like, you know, it was an accident. I didn't mean to, like, steal this, punch this kid, do that. I didn't, whatever. If I knew the severity based on the playlist.
Okay. Yep.
Right. So you grow up, you come up with music, and that's the side of music that a lot of people don't share. They don't talk about, right? It's like music is not only situations, but music for me, and a lot of times was like I knew what was coming or what was about to go down as a
Yeah.
result of music, you
Oh
know?
my god. You know, I never really thought of, like, for me, I associated it with like I said, when they were like a fried dumpling, ackee and sawfish, some callaloo,
Yeah.
some, you know what I mean, some callaloo and some like
The real
pork,
shit, right?
or you know what I mean, yard things. So like it was always something good cooking up. So, or my, oh my gosh, my uncle had the stupidest stack of speakers, bro. He had like
The
two
sound
cars.
system, the uncle sound system, right?
Uncle sound system. One
Ah,
uncle, he had the home sound system, and the next uncle, he had the car sound system. And I'm telling you, like oh my gosh, I just put my kickers back in the car, and I'm waiting for this delivery tomorrow so I can install the speaker system. Listen to me, man. It's going to
that's a
thump.
satisfying feeling because you got to remember we like the tradition of the sound system is a lot like whenever I hear someone saying this the music is too loud, I almost want to be like, well, does it sound too loud or are you not feeling it the right way? Right?
Ah, because
And
that's
the history of the sound system is it's visceral. It's not about it's not it represents flavors, textures,
yep.
senses, periods, eras, sounds. It's yeah. If I was going to say like that's it. It's the sound system, and that's where Sun Ra really like when you get things into almost like science fiction and you root that in Afrocentricity. I was just like, fuck, is this cool?
Yep.
You know, and then you got a big booming sound system. So not only is everyone not going to have a choice but to hear it, but not everyone, even people who don't want to, are going to feel it until they hear it or hear it until they feel it. And to me, that was how you win. You know what I mean? That's the ultimate win right there. To live on through frequency and exist through
Yep.
vibration. It's what
That
we're
was
all
another
chasing.
that was another one of the things that I said, you know what I mean, when I was here. It's like, hey, none of you can make as much noise as I can, eh? I got 4,000 watts of sound in my trunk alone. Don't
Yeah,
maybe, don't maybe turn on my home entertainment system
yeah.
or my studio. You understand?
But
So one
yo,
time
like
I
it's
had to
nice to
show
look
them.
back. It's nice to look back at that and have those kind of memories, right? Like even when I'm looking back at them thinking saying that my mom was gonna beat me, I just want to be clear for the record here. Beat me in the way where I deserved it and not child abuse. beat me in the way where she came downstairs and spanked me on the ass, and I cried because my ego was hurt, not because I was getting beat with a broom. Mama was good to me. Everyone else fucked me up and beat me. Mama didn't beat me.
I said it like this. My parents raised a gent. Society turned me in a different way that I can't say because my daughter has company and I don't want them to hear me speak in such foul language.
There you go. There you go. You know what? I can't. I have to emphasize that as kind of like the ultimate point in our entire discussion.
Yeah.
That's ideal because at the end of the day, like I got something I'm working on next week, and I'll drop that before I go pee because I'm literally going to explode here, my brother. I don't think I'd hang up.
Man, I hear you.
But like I got a workshop dropping next week. Thank you so much for having me. Check out therealplanes.com in the next little while, and you're gonna be able to find everything. All of it is public domain. Got a lot of awesome, really cool guests that are going to join me, including a bunch of big names I'm not going to drop at the moment because we're still talking with a bunch of labels, but the same old Plains friends and family. And there's also going to be an extremely large amount of continuing workshops that are going to start walking people through realistic, like top 10 lists, step-by-step plans and templates for everything from like writing your song, coming up with your first rap, to securing like your first small grant for marketing promotion or artistic development or community engagement and scale. So there's going to be essentially a roadmap for everything I did wrong and everything I wish I would have done that I'm going to post on therealplanes.com. That's going to be not only data driven, but applicable to everything that's post-pandemic realities for artists. So I'm hoping to create kind of an annex where everyone can go download a bunch of stuff for free, make a whole bunch of money on it, and then never talk to me about it again. Public domain shit, therealplanes.com. And then, like, again, thank you for having me. This is a wonderful opportunity. I'd love to come back in October. Hopefully bring some goodies with me, and then just chat it up. I mean, this is, for me, this is re-energizing. You know, it's kind of like plugging my my electric, my non-Tesla brand car into a Tesla charger and getting away with it.
Oh man, I'm humbled by the reference, and I look forward to hosting you again on the Savage Circle and the Terrell Effect. I will get you those dates just now. Ladies and gentlemen, you've had the pleasure of hearing from the whimsical Ira Lee. Ira Lee is whack. You know what? Check him out on Instagram. You know what I mean? The what's the website?
IraLee'sWhack.com, Instagram and Facebook, or IraLee'sWhack / whatever, social media. TheRealPlanes.com for the website. Anything downloaded, all smaller case, one word. I think that's it. And then Google Ira Lee. I'm not the basketball player. I'm the other one.
Okay.
You'll know. There's Ira Lee Gershwin. There's Ira Lee from Sacramento that like does a lot of drinking and driving, is like a power forward and gets in a lot of car accidents. And then there's Ira Lee's whack.
All right. So you know which one's the real one. Check him out. Add him up. This Saturday, we got the Terrell Effect happening, but it's just a precursor to the Culture Shock Community Cookout, ladies and gentlemen. It's just about here. We're about to get it on. All right, Ira, bless up. It's been a pleasure.
Bless up, crew. Spread love and keep the peace, my fam.
That's what's up. Bless up.
That's what's up. Until next time, peace.
Yeah.